Have you ever felt the invisible weight of someone else's envy pressing against your success? That peculiar sensation when your achievements seem to darken someone's mood? When your progress becomes their personal torment? You're not imagining it. And according to Carl Jung, the legendary Swiss psychiatrist who mapped the human psyche like no one before him, envy isn't just an emotion. It's an energy that can literally penetrate your aura and drain your life force. Envy is the shadow that grows darker as your light shines brighter. Jung understood something profound about human nature that most people miss entirely. He discovered that envy operates on frequencies that transcend mere psychological discomfort. It's an energetic phenomenon that can actually weaken your personal magnetism, cloud your judgment, and sabotage your path to greatness. But here's what's fascinating. Jung didn't just identify the problem. He created a hidden manual for dealing with it. Through decades of clinical observation and personal analysis, Jung realized that envy isn't just about wanting what someone else has. It's about the unconscious terror of facing our own unlived potential. When envious people encounter your success, they're not just seeing your achievements. They're seeing a reflection of everything they could have become, but chose not to pursue. This creates what he called psychological combustion, an explosive reaction that can damage both the envious person and their target if not properly understood and managed. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. Onward thinkers, my name is Mr. Halvig, and you're watching The Rational Wise. Jung called envy the great destroyer of human potential. But why? Because unlike anger, which burns hot and fast, or sadness, which flows and passes, envy is a sustained frequency of resentment that feeds on your success. The envious person doesn't just dislike your achievements. They become energetically dependent on diminishing them. Think about this for a moment. When someone truly envies you, they're not just wishing they had what you have. They're actively wishing you didn't have it. This creates what Jung termed psychic interference, a kind of energetic static that can actually affect your performance, your confidence, and your ability to maintain the very success they resent. Jung discovered that envy operates like a psychological parasite. The envious person unconsciously attempts to drain your life force because they've lost touch with their own creative power. They can't generate the energy needed for their own success, so they try to siphon it from those who can. This isn't metaphorical. Jung observed measurable changes in people's energy levels, decision-making abilities, and even physical health when they were consistently exposed to envious energy without proper protection. But here's where Jung's genius reveals itself. He discovered that your aura, that energetic field that surrounds every human being, isn't just some mystical concept. It's a measurable phenomenon that responds to your mental state, your emotional clarity, and most importantly, your conscious intention. Your aura is your first line of defense against the energy of others. Jung observed that people with strong, intact auras rarely suffer from the effects of envy, while those with weakened or chaotic energy fields become magnets for other people's resentment. The question isn't whether you have an aura. The question is whether you're using it consciously or unconsciously. Jung's first principle for dealing with envy was what he called energetic awareness. This means recognizing that every interaction you have with another person involves an exchange of energy. When someone envies you, they're not just having thoughts about you, they're projecting a specific frequency in your direction. Most people are completely unconscious of this process. They walk through life with their energetic guard down, absorbing whatever emotions and intentions others direct toward them. But Jung taught his patients to develop what he called psychic sensitivity, the ability to sense when someone's energy is hostile or draining. Here's how this works in practice. Have you ever been in a room with someone and suddenly felt inexplicably tired or anxious, even though nothing obvious was happening? That's energetic interference. The person might have been smiling and acting friendly, but on a deeper level, their envy was creating a kind of psychic pressure that your unconscious mind was trying to process. Jung documented countless cases of what he called energetic vampirism, situations where successful individuals would inexplicably lose their motivation, clarity, or confidence after spending time with certain people. These weren't random occurrences. They were predictable patterns that occurred when someone with a strong aura encountered someone operating from envy and resentment. The fascinating part is that this process often happens completely below the level of conscious awareness. The envious person doesn't wake up thinking, "I'm going to drain their energy today." Instead, their unconscious mind automatically seeks to restore psychological balance by diminishing what threatens their ego. It's like a psychological immune system gone wrong. Instead of protecting the self, it attacks what could actually inspire growth and transformation. Jung discovered that the first step in protecting yourself from envy is learning to identify it energetically before it affects you emotionally or mentally. This isn't about becoming paranoid or suspicious. It's about developing the same awareness of energy that you already have for physical danger. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps more than you think. Now let's continue. Jung's second principle was aura strengthening, the conscious practice of building and maintaining your energetic field. He understood that a weak aura is like having no immune system for psychic attacks, while a strong aura creates a natural barrier that deflects negative energy automatically. But how do you strengthen something as intangible as an aura? Jung developed specific techniques that work on both psychological and energetic levels. The first is what he called conscious breathing with intention. This isn't just meditation. It's a deliberate practice of expanding your energy field through controlled breathing while visualizing a protective barrier around yourself. What you don't consciously protect, you unconsciously surrender. The second technique Jung taught was energetic sovereignty, the practice of claiming ownership over your personal space and energy. This means mentally establishing boundaries around yourself and consciously refusing to absorb other people's emotions or intentions. It's like creating an invisible shield that allows positive energy in while keeping negative energy out. Jung noticed that people who practiced these techniques began to report something remarkable. The envious people in their lives either stopped being envious or naturally drifted away from them. This wasn't coincidence. It was the natural result of no longer being energetically available to feed someone else's resentment. When you strengthen your aura, you create what Jung called energetic incompatibility with those who operate from lower frequencies. Your elevated vibration simply doesn't match their resonance anymore. It's like tuning into a different radio station. You can no longer receive the static of their negativity because you're operating on a completely different frequency. But there's something even more profound happening here. Jung observed that when you consistently maintain a strong aura, you begin to naturally attract what he called resonant souls, people who match your energy, share your values, and support your growth rather than resent it. Your strengthened aura doesn't just repel negative energy, it becomes a beacon for positive, aligned connections. This is why some people seem to effortlessly surround themselves with supportive, inspiring individuals, while others constantly battle drama, jealousy, and negativity. It's not luck or social skills, it's energetic mastery. When you consciously strengthen your aura, you become a magnet for the kind of relationships and opportunities that elevate rather than drain your life force. Jung's third and perhaps most powerful principle was energetic redirection. This is where his approach becomes truly revolutionary. Instead of just protecting yourself from envy, Jung taught his students to actually transform envious energy into fuel for their own growth. Here's how this works. When someone directs envious energy toward you, that energy doesn't just disappear if you block it. It's still there, looking for somewhere to go. Jung discovered that you can consciously redirect this energy back to its source, but transformed into something beneficial. Think of it like this. Someone sends you the energy of resentment because you have something they want. Instead of absorbing that resentment and feeling drained, you consciously transform it into gratitude. Gratitude for having achieved what they're envying, gratitude for the motivation their envy provides, and even gratitude for the opportunity to practice your energetic skills. This isn't about being arrogant or dismissive. It's about refusing to waste the energy that someone else has inadvertently given you. Jung called this alchemical transformation, turning the lead of others' negativity into the gold of your own empowerment. The most fascinating part? Jung observed that when you consistently practice energetic redirection, the people who envy you often experience a shift themselves. Because they are no longer able to drain your energy, they're forced to confront their own feelings more directly, which sometimes leads to genuine personal growth. But there's another layer to this principle that Jung found particularly intriguing. He discovered that envious energy, when redirected properly, actually accelerates your manifestation abilities. It's as if the intense focus of someone's resentment, when transformed through conscious intention, becomes a kind of energetic fuel for creating the very things they're envying. Jung called this phenomenon psychological alchemy, the ability to transform base emotions into gold. When someone focuses intensely on what you have, even from a place of resentment, they're actually sending concentrated attention in your direction. That attention, when properly redirected, can amplify your own creative and manifestational power. Think of it this way: every time someone envies your success, they're unconsciously affirming that success is real, valuable, and achievable. They're focusing energy on the very outcomes you want to create more of. When you learn to redirect that energy instead of absorbing it as negativity, you essentially turn their envy into rocket fuel for your continued growth and achievement. Jung's final principle was energetic elevation, the practice of consciously raising your vibrational frequency to a level where envy simply cannot affect you. This is the most advanced aspect of his hidden manual, but also the most liberating. Jung understood that envy operates on specific frequencies of consciousness, primarily fear, scarcity, and comparison. When you consistently operate from frequencies of abundance, gratitude, and self-actualization, you become energetically incompatible with envious attacks. You cannot be diminished by someone operating from a lower frequency than your own. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant or detached from others. It means cultivating such a strong sense of your own worth and purpose that other people's opinions, positive or negative, don't determine your energetic state. You become like a tuning fork that's so perfectly calibrated to your own frequency that it cannot be made to vibrate at any other rate. Jung taught his students to spend time each day consciously connecting with their highest aspirations, their deepest values, and their most authentic self-expression. This practice naturally elevates your energetic frequency and creates what he called immunity to psychic interference. When you operate from this elevated state, something remarkable happens. You stop attracting envious people altogether, not because you become perfect or untouchable, but because your energy no longer resonates with the frequency of envy. Like attracts like, and when you consistently embody confidence, abundance, and authentic success, you naturally attract people who share those same qualities. This is what Jung called energetic magnetism, the ability to attract experiences, opportunities, and relationships that match your internal frequency. The higher you raise your vibration, the more you attract circumstances that support and amplify your growth, rather than drain and diminish it. Jung observed that people operating from elevated frequencies seem to live in an entirely different reality than those stuck in lower vibrations. Opportunities appeared effortlessly. Obstacles dissolved. The right people showed up at the right times. Synchronicities became commonplace. This wasn't mystical thinking. It was the natural result of operating from a frequency that aligned with growth, abundance, and authentic success. The most remarkable aspect of energetic elevation is that it creates what Jung termed immunity through transcendence. When you consistently operate from higher frequencies, lower frequency attacks simply can't reach you. It's not that you're fighting them off. They literally can't penetrate your energetic field because there's no resonance point for them to grab onto. Jung's hidden manual for dealing with envy isn't just about protection, it's about transformation. It's about using the inevitable challenges of human jealousy and resentment as opportunities to strengthen your character, clarify your purpose, and elevate your consciousness. The beautiful paradox Jung discovered is this: the more consciously you deal with envy, the less you encounter it. Not because envious people cease to exist, but because you cease to be a match for their frequency. You become too busy creating, too focused on your purpose, and too abundant in your thinking to attract or absorb the energy of those who operate from scarcity. This is Jung's ultimate lesson about envy. It's not really about other people at all. It's about your own relationship with success, abundance, and personal power. When you truly understand that your achievements don't diminish others and that others' resentment doesn't diminish you, you step into a level of freedom that most people never experience. Remember this: every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has faced envy. It's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something right. The key is learning to navigate it with the wisdom Jung provided, using your aura as both shield and transformer. Your aura is your birthright. Your success is your responsibility. And your protection from envy is your choice to make consciously every single day. The techniques Jung developed aren't just about dealing with negative energy. They're about mastering the art of conscious living in a world full of unconscious reactions. But here's what's truly fascinating. Jung discovered that when you successfully implement these principles, you don't just protect yourself from envy. You actually develop what he called an attractive aura that naturally inspires others while simultaneously revealing who might harbor hidden resentment toward your success. Understanding how to recognize these signs becomes crucial for anyone walking the path of authentic achievement. The irony Jung observed is that the stronger your aura becomes, the more it reveals the true nature of people around you. Your elevated energy acts like a psychological litmus test, showing you who genuinely supports your growth and who secretly resents it. This isn't about becoming judgmental. It's about developing the wisdom to invest your energy in relationships that truly serve your highest good. Jung documented that people with mastered auras often discovered surprising truths about their social circles. Friends they thought were supportive revealed hidden jealousies. Colleagues they barely noticed showed genuine admiration and encouragement. Family members displayed complex mixtures of pride and resentment that had been invisible before their energetic awakening. This revelation can be both liberating and challenging. On one hand, you gain clarity about who truly belongs in your inner circle. On the other hand, you might realize that some relationships you valued were actually built on energy dynamics that no longer serve you. Jung called this process energetic evolution, the natural progression toward more authentic, aligned connections as you develop greater mastery over your personal energy field. The ultimate goal isn't to avoid all envious people or surround yourself only with those who never challenge you. It's to develop such mastery over your own energy that you can maintain your center regardless of others' reactions, while simultaneously recognizing the patterns that reveal where true support and genuine threat actually lie. If you want to dive deeper into this fascinating aspect of energetic mastery, I've created a comprehensive guide that explores the 7 unmistakable signs that your powerful aura awakens envy in others. Understanding these patterns will not only protect your energy, but also help you navigate relationships with greater wisdom and discernment. 7 signs. Your powerful aura attracts envy from others. Carl Jung. Let me know what you think in the comments. I read every single one. And of course, subscribe for more high-value content. Onward, thinkers.